Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I hope and trust you are well. Welcome to a new week. Welcome to another session on the web development module. So, super pleased to have you here with me today. And we are in week 7 of the web development module. Yes, so we are almost done. We are almost done with this module. Yeah, just one more week, and we will be done. One more week. So before we start today's lesson, which is on CSS3, transitions and animations, I'd just like to go through week 7 assignment. Yeah, just like to go through week 7 assignment. Yeah, so your deliverables for week 7 assignments were at least 2 files, index and a script.js. And the index, the HTML file, at least one form and several interactive sections, JavaScript file, event handling, two interactive features, a fully functioning custom form validation, no HTML5 validation. Right? Okay, so those were your deliverables for week 7. So just before we go into that, yeah, my sincere apologies for the issues surrounding access to the assignment. And for some reason, one that I do not understand, up until now, the GitHub decided to do that for everyone and across all, almost across all modules. So same issue has been experienced on database, same issues on Python. So I'm not sure what that actually means. So yeah, so we've posted new instructions on the assignment pages. So rather than accepting the assignment, you'll now be forking the assignment and then proceed to do the assignment. So I really hope you guys know what forking is, because the ones I've guided have done mistakes. The ones I've guided to fork a repository have actually done mistakes. So when you get the assignment link, you'll get the assignment link. This will be the main link. You can clone this repository, yes, but you cannot push to it because it does not belong to you. Okay. So when you get the assignment link, you click on fork. You click on fork. You click on fork. Just leave the name of the repository as it is. Leave the name of the repository as it is, and then recreate your fork. Okay, there's a very big difference between forking and cloning. There's a very big difference between those two. So what you're required to do is fork the repository and then proceed to do your assignment. So those are the new instructions for week 7 and 8. Week 6, 7, and 8. 8 has a repository, not sure. I will check and update accordingly. Yeah, but for week 6 and 7, where most of the issues occurred, then this will be your new way of actually doing that, accessing the assignment. So I hope that one is clear for everyone. Yeah, so back to our assignment. I think last week we did an example for dark light mode toggle. Um, we did an accordion. Did an accordion. What else did we do last week? We do tabs. I think we also did tabs last week, and we also did form validation. So the assignment was pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. I keep on informing you every week. Please don't think so much on the assignments. Just meet the deliverables. Just meet the deliverables as they are highlighted. Yeah, so I did an example for the assignment, very straightforward. So for mine, I only did the form validation. But for yours, please meet all the requirements. Please meet all the requirements. So this one was a simple form. Simple form. It's just a login form. Demonstrates JavaScript events and basic interactivity. So try to log in with no inputs. You get a message. Please fill in both fields. I have a default password here, so um, just to showcase, just to showcase JavaScript events and basic interactivity. Yeah, so that was it. That was it for week 7 assignment. That was it for week 7 assignment. So here we are using an event listener on the submit event of the form. Next, we prevent the default behavior. It's just simply preventing the form from submitting so that we can carry out our validation. So first validation is checking whether the username and the password have been entered. If not, inform the user that both fields are required. And next, as I said, I have a default username and a password. So if those do not match, you provide the message invalid username or password. If they do, you provide a successful message in green. Yeah, so basically that is what was required for your week 6. Now we can comfortably move on to week 7 content. Can move on to week 7 contents. So as I always say, please make sure you have everything ready for the week. So I have a directory here for week 7. You can at least have an index. A HTML file. We can at least have a HTML file. Just in case we need a script file. And since we are dealing with CSS, we also need a styles folder. Yeah, for our styling. We have not left JavaScript. We are just digressing a little bit. Just in case we need it. Just in case we need it for this session. So at least have those files ready. And this one should give you, should have a basic transition and animations. Basic structure, at least you have a body, you have a head, you have a title. Okay. Yeah, so please have that ready and then we can begin. Just 1 minute and then we begin. And this is very easy. Nothing much to this. So, in as much as we have seen that interactive web pages can be done with JavaScript, um, you can as well do that using CSS. You can as well do that using CSS by leveraging the use of transitions and animations. Yeah, so for the longest time, web developers have been using JavaScript and to mimic those interactivity and transitions on their web pages. Or, like I said, a long time ago, back then, during our day, we used to have something called Flash, and it was real hectic to use that for some of these interactive elements. So with the third version of CSS3, they introduce transitions and animations. So with transitions, we now have the potential to alter the appearance and behavior of an element whenever a state change occurs. Whenever a state change occurs, such states as things like when you scroll the mouse, when you move the mouse across your web page, things like hovering, uh, clicking a mouse button, and so on and so forth. So that is what defines transition. You're simply altering the appearance and behavior of an element when a state changes. On the other hand, animations within CSS3 now allow the appearance and behavior of an element to be altered in multiple keyframes. To be altered in multiple keyframes. And we are going to define what that actually means. We are going to define what that actually means. So we can start with transitions. We can start with transitions. So with transitions, you can smoothly change various CSS properties and their values over a given duration instead of jumping instantly. Okay. So, like what we have been doing so far, you've seen color changes. You've seen we've been able to hide and show elements. We've been able to change text, and all this has been done instantly. But with transitions, we can now include a time element so that the change is gradual, so that the change is smooth. It is not just instant. So people can actually see this is actually changing. So that is the beauty of CSS3 transitions. So before we see how that one is done, just to mention a few key transition properties. So first of all, we have the transition property. So this one simply dictates which CSS property are you changing. Which CSS property are you changing? Are you changing the background color and so on and so forth? So we have transition property as one of the key properties that we'll be looking at. We have the transition duration. Transition duration. So this one simply dictates how long the transition will last. How long the transition will last. And this one is basically in seconds. It's usually in seconds. We have another one called transition timing function. Transition timing function. This one dictates the speed of the transition. This one dictates the speed of the transition. And we have those options. We have ease, which dictates that the transition will start slow and then speed up and then slow again. We have a linear. This one dictates a constant speed. We have ease in, that starts slow and ends fast. Ease out is the opposite, starts fast and ends slow. We have ease in out, which dictates speed of slow, then fast, and then slow. Okay, so we are going to see how all of those works. And then finally, we have transition delay. We have transition delay. So this is basically the time that you will wait before a transition starts. How long are you waiting before a transition starts? So let us just showcase this practically. Let us showcase this practically with a simple button. With a simple button, let us showcase this practically. So let us create our button. Just create our button. Give it a class. Can say hover over me. Hover over me. Next, we'll link our CSS document to our HTML file. So remember, we are doing CSS3, yeah? Yes, we are going to use some JavaScript, but at the very end. So link your styling file, And for our style, we defined a class called BTN. So start with the background color. Start with the background color. Color of text, we leave that to white. Can have a padding. Can have padding 10 pixels and 24 pixels. Remove the border for the button. Remove the border for the button. Hey, I tell you again. This code completion. This code completion. Have a cursor. Define the cursor as a pointer. And then font size. Font size. And then finally our transition. So here we are going to change the background color. Sorry. We're going to ease into that background color, and we're going to transform it over 0.3 seconds and use ease in out. Okay. Next, we have to capture that change of status. So on button hover, we're going to change that color. So this one is simply just a slight zoom, slight increase on the size of the button. Slight increase on hover. Okay, so save your file. So these ones are just cosmetics. These ones are just cosmetics. Our main one here is this one. Our main one is this line 9, where we activate the transition, and the transition activation will be on the background color. It will be on the background color. It will be on the background color. These are our timings, 0.5 seconds. This is our transition timing function, the speed of the transition. The speed of the transition is, okay, we said is, what does is do? Is starts slow, speeds up, then slows again. So that one is going to be under the duration of 0.5 seconds. And then our transform property is going to last 0.3 seconds. And we are going to use the speed of ease in, ease out. So slow, fast, and then slow. Okay. So save your file. Make sure you've linked your CSS file. And then we can launch this in our browser. So let me just, was that very fast? We can increase the timing. Let's increase the timing. And that has reloaded. It's visible, eh? I chose very distinct colors so that our doubting Thomases, the ones that are there, do not dispute our transition effects. So on hover, just hover over the button, you should see the change. The button slightly increases. The color gradually changes from blue to green. So that is an example of a smooth button hover effect. You see, previously in our previous classes, last week and the week before, we were actually changing this instantly. But with the transition effect, you have a gradual change. The change occurs over time. The change occurs over time. The change occurs over time. So that is an example of a transition. Maybe we can do another example. We can do another example. We can do another example. So that is our button. Okay, so back to our index file. Do a div. Let's do a div with a class box. Let's do a div with a class box. Just create a div with a class box. We'll still do Hoover. We'll still do Hoover. Okay. We will still do Hoover. So for our box class, let's set a background. Which color? Which color should we use? Which color are we going to use? Let's do the inverse. Let's do green. Border radius. Is we'll do 100. Height of 100. That's a pointer. That's a pointer. Line heights. 100. Yes, sorry about that. Text align, center, text align center. Now for this one, we're going to do everything by itself. So transition property, we are transitioning the background. Okay. Transition duration, 2 seconds is quite a lot. Let's just do one. Transition timing function. Transition timing function, we can do linear. Okay. Then our box on Hoover. So save that, save that, and go back to our browser. Save that and go back to our browser. Uh, let's do a separation of these two. Let's do a separation of these two. So you see the transition, you see the transition, you see the transition, see the transition. Yeah, so those are examples of transition. So remember, for a transition to take place, an element must have a change in state, and different styles must be identified for each state. Different styles must be identified for each state. Okay? Different styles must be identified for each state. So another thing to note, something else to note is for the transition property, this is the one that determines exactly what property will be altered. So whether it's the background, whether it's the background or border or color, okay, that one is what determines what you are changing. So by default, all properties within an element's different state can be altered upon change. But one thing to note is only properties identified within transition property will be affected by any transitions, by any transitions. So there are a list of properties that can be transitioned that you also need to be aware of. Like I said, CSS has so many properties but not every property will apply to every situation. So when it comes to transition, there is only a handful of popular transition properties that you can use. And we have seen some of them. So we have seen background color. You can change background position. You can change border color, border width, border spacing. You can change the bottom position. You can change font color. You can change font size, font weight. You can change height and width. You can change letter spacing. You can change margin and padding. You can change the opacity of an element. You can change the indent of an element. You can change its visibility and so forth, so forth, and for so more. So those are some of the transition properties that are available for your use, that are available for your use when you are doing transitions using CSS3, using CSS3. Yeah, so on to the next, animations, or we can do one more example. Let me see, do we have one more example that we can do? Let me see one more example for transition. Very interesting one now. Uh, let's do one more. Let's do one more. So we have a div, we'll have a div, and within it, let us get an image. Within it, we'll get an image. So have a class container or image container, if you will. So get an image, please get an image. You know where to get images from, eh? You know where to get images from? Pexels.com, pexels.com, our go-to image provider, our plug, if you will, for images. Eh? Yeah, I'm just going to grab the first image I see. Remember, a good developer is is organized. Eh? So your images folder, let me copy that and paste it right there. This looks like cookies. Eh? So just rename it for, so this is images. That is my image. Please get your own image. Get your own image. Get your own image. Eh? Get your own image. Get your own image. So you have a div container, and within it, you have an image. Have a div container, and within it, an image. So to our CSS file, for our image container, we want something very big. Width 200 pixels, border radius, cursor pointer, transition. We have transform. 0.seconds are very few, so we'll just do 1 second. We'll do box shadow. Let's do 2 for this one. And for the box shadow. Eh? Okay. Next, image container. Image on Hoover. On Hoover, we are simply transforming scale and a box shadow 8 pixels, 16 pixels. This is simply the color. RGBA is a function for color. RGBA is a function for color. So we can have that. Want some gradual. Oh, box shadow. Image is too big. If the box shadow is visible, let me see some dark shadow along the image. Let's increase. Yeah, much better. So that is our third transition. That is our third transition. But our image is too big. Our image is too big. It's too big. Let's do a height for our data. So that is our third transition. Now on an image, we've done one for a button, a div, and now we've done one for our image. And one for our image. Good stuff. Good stuff. We can now head on to animations. We can now head on to animations. We can head on to animations. So far we have seen transitions do a very great job of building out visual interactions from one state to another, as we have seen. But there will come a time when you need more control over those transitions. And sometimes they need to have multiple states. So this is where animations come in. This is where animations come in. So with animations, CSS allows you to define a sequence of style changes. So you have multiple style changes, and you do that by using keyframes. You use that by using keyframes. So this one is a keyword in CSS. This one is a keyword in CSS. So to set up those multiple points, you use the keyframes rule. So this one includes the animation name, any breakpoints, and the properties that you intend to animate. The properties that you intend to animate. So as always, we do this by practically. We do this practically. But before that, let us see some of the key properties when it comes to animations. So first we have the keyframes. Sorry, it's called keyframes. This one is the one that is used to create your animations or define your animation steps, or define animation steps. Okay, so we have keyframes. What is happening? Next, we have the animation name. So you have to give your name an animation just like you would name a variable. You give your animation a name. Then we have a duration. How long will the animation last? That is pretty straightforward. And then you have your timing function. That is the speed of the animation. Just like the transition timing function, you still have the same values here. Is linear, is in, is out, and is in, out. Okay. Next, you have your animation delay. Just like your transition delay, how long to wait before starting the animation. You have your iteration count. How many times? How many times will the animation run? Is it running for forever? That is infinitely, or is it running for a certain set duration? Then you have your direction. You have your direction. You have your direction. This simply dictates the direction of play. Is it normal? Is it normal? Is it reverse? Is it alternate or alternate reverse? And then you have your fill mode. This simply defines what styles persist, before or after the animation. What style persists? What style persists? Okay, so these are some of the properties that you would come across when you are looking at animations. So as our norm, let us do this practically. So we are going to do another div. We are going to do another div. We are going to do another div with a class ball. We're going to do something interesting here with a class ball. So class ball. That is too much. Let's do 8 pixels. Round color, border radius 50%, so that we round it. Position relative. And for our animation, this will be bounce, 2 seconds, infinite, is in, out. We're creating a bouncing ball. Okay. Next, we define our keyframes. So this is the bounce keyframe. No, we do not want to change color. We do not want to change color. So, but we can. We just do not want to change color. So top position 0. Top position 0. And then 50% top 200 pixels. So what we have simply said with these lines of code, and our most importance are this one, line 60 and the keyframes. So what we are saying is we are simply making this ball move up and down, and we're doing it infinitely. So it will always be moving up and down. And this is our animation name. Okay, this is our animation name. And we define that animation using the keyframes keyword. We define that animation using the keyframes keyword. So at 0%, and at 100%, we need the animation, we need our bounce animation to be at the very top of our page. So we set that to 0. And whenever it is at 50%, we set it to appear at the 200 pixel mark. We set it to appear at the 200 pixel mark. So save that, and go back to our browser. Go back to our browser. Can you see your ball? Do you see your ball bouncing? Or yours is not bouncing? Huh? Or yours is not bouncing? Or yours is not bouncing? My machine is acting up again. Is yours bouncing? Is yours bouncing? Is yours bouncing? Yeah, so that is good. That is good. I hope yours is bouncing. If yours is not bouncing, where have you gone wrong? Where have you gone wrong? So let us do another one. Let us do another one. Do another one. Let us do another one. Yes, let us do another one. One more, one more. Okay, for animation, Animation. Okay, so class, div class So I can call this stage. Normalize using different HTML elements. Eh? Just being the same things over and over again. Normalize using different HTML elements. So here I'm using a figure. Here we'll use a figure. To our styles file. So we can define the for our stage. So we'll do a minimum width. And heights. It's do the radius. Imagine. Position relative. Okay. That is for our container. Next, we access the stage Uber with a class ball. So animation. So this one will be slide 2 seconds. I want it to be infinite, ease in, ease out, and then alternate. Remember, this is short form. Okay, this is short form. You can list all the properties for animation one by one. So this will be animation name. This would be animation duration. This would be iteration count. This would be timing function. And this one will be the direction. Okay. So you can list them out one by one, or you can do the short form where you just list all of them in one line of code, okay? So whichever method that you prefer, okay? This can as well be, as I mentioned, animation, name, slide, okay? Animation duration, 2 seconds, iteration count, infinite, timing function, ease in, ease out, and direction, alternate. So this, how many? 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines of code can as well be replaced with this one line of code, okay? So I hope that one is clear. Next, our ball. Let's do a background color. Orange, as my computer suggests, orange. Border radius, 50%. Width 50 pixels, height 50 pixels, and then position absolute. Position absolute. So we've defined our animation. We now need to do the keyframes. Keyframes, our identifier is slide. Our identifier is slide. Our identifier is 0%. At 0%, left 0, top 0. At 50%, big is our stage. We might need to increase it. Okay. So we need to increase this. Let's do 600. For a stage height is okay. Let's do a minimum width of 600 for a stage, so that you can actually see this one. I want you to see this one in action. So 50% left, we can do 250 to 40, top 100. And then 100%, we can do 90, top 0. Okay. So there we have our stage and our ball. There we have our stage and our ball, There we have our stage and our ball. So let me check everything is in order. Keyframe slides. Okay. Yeah, so everything is in order. Position relative, yes. Ball, position absolute. Yes. So save your file. Back to the browser. Ooh. We need another. We already have a ball, Oh, we already have a ball. We already have a ball. It's supposed to be two different. Save your file. This ball number one is ball number one is let me get rid of ball number one for now. And our image. What is happening? Why is our animation not running? Where have we gone wrong? Okay. I know. Ball two. Ball two. So, yes. So ball two, you can return these others to interfering with our ball one. Yeah, so that is our second example on animations. That is our second example on animations. Maybe we can do one more. We can do one more. We can do one more. Let's do one more. We can do one more animation before we see how you can use JavaScript and CSS3 animations. Okay. Basically, just to a way for you to start and stop the animations by leveraging the use of JavaScript. So with JavaScript, you can introduce JavaScript. It interacts with the DOM, the document object model, and then activates a CSS animation or deactivates it. So let's do one more. Let's do one more. I want to do a very interesting one. Let's do one more. Let's do one more animation. Let's do one more animation. This one I'm sure you're going to love. So a div class. Create a div container with the class hat. Create a div container with the class hat. Yes, we are doing a hat. We are doing a hat. Yes. No, we are not doing a reaction. We are not doing a reaction like what I'm seeing on my screen now. We are doing something else. So class hats. We can start with the width of 100 pixels and a height of the same. Of course, background is red. Position relative. Transform 45 degrees. We're going to rotate it 45 degrees. And then animation is heartbeat. 1 second infinite. Animation is heartbeat, 1 second infinite. So we need a heart before and a heart after. Heart before and a heart after. So we are going to simply clear the content, leave the width and the height at 100 pixels. Our background will still be red. Yes. Border radius 50%, position absolute. Position absolute, that is okay. Heart before left, negative 50 pixels. And then heart after left, still negative 50 pixels. So the before is left, after is top, is top. And then we define our keyframes for our heartbeat animation. Define our keyframes for our heartbeat animations. So we are going to transform it. So we are going to scale it, zoom it, and then rotate 45 degrees. That is at 0 and 100%. And then for 50%, we're going to scale it at 1.3 and still rotate at 45 degrees. So that is for our style. Don't worry, I'll be sharing this code in a repository after we are done. So save your file. Hey, our heart was red. Who is changing these colors? The heart was red. So save your file. Back to the browser. Oh my lords. Oh my lord. Is that somebody's heart pumping? Yeah. How nice do you feel when you've created something and it comes together? It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling when you actually do that. When you actually do that. Yeah, so that does it for our animations. We can take a very short break, very short break as I upload this to a repository and share the repository code with you. Okay, so kindly marinate on that code. Okay, so this is July 2025 week. We're in week 7. Week 7, session 1. Week 7, session 1. Create repository. So add my files. This is week 7. Oh, one thing I failed to mention, by the way. We are live on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and search for the PLP Academy, the PLP Academy channel, you should see that we are live. So I have a styles folder. Styles. And this is style.css. And I also have an images folder. Images. Okay. And finally, I have the scripts folder. Okay. Yeah, so I've shared the repository link on the chat box. I have shared the repository link on the chat box. Share the repository link on the chat box. Yeah, so if you want the codes, please access it from the repository for this session. Access it from the repository for this session. Yeah, I think we have time for seeing how we can incorporate JavaScript. Just a simple example. Just a simple example to see how we can incorporate JavaScript. Just a simple example. So we are going to use JavaScript just basically to initiate and stop these animations. That is how you incorporate JavaScript with transitions and animations. Okay, so just as simple as that. So let's create something else. Let's create something else. No, we're not doing a loader. Sorry, my computer. We're not doing a loader. Even if you suggest it, we are not doing a loader. The div class box 2 ID box 2. So we'll have two buttons. We are going to have two buttons, one for start and another for stop. This will be on click, start animation, and also on click, stop animation. Don't forget to link your script file. This is script.js. Don't forget to link your script file. Okay. So first of all, our CSS for our box 2. First of all, our CSS for our box 2. Two. Width height 100 pixels. Background purple. Okay. Position relative. Position relative. Position relative. We're going to have a class called animate. We're going to have a class called animate. So this one will be move, something very simple, move right, infinite, alternate, is in out. And then we define our move right animation. Need to change the color. So here we are going to define from and to. From and to. We're not changing the color. Sorry. We are not changing the color. We're just moving the box. So we are moving it from and to. Just on the horizontal axis, just on the horizontal axis. And then for our JavaScript, we define those two functions. So we have constant box is equal to documents dot get element by ID. So this is box 2. This is box 2. Then our function starts animation. Start animation. So we access the box and the class list, and we add the animate class. That is for starting the animation. Function stop animation. We simply remove that class. We simply remove that class. So save your file, save all your files, make sure the connection to your files are valid. Make sure your connection to your files are valid, and then we go back to our browser. So reload that. So start animation, that is your box heading over to the right and coming back. And then we can stop it. Start animation, your box moves over to the right, and that is very small. Let me move it to the very end. See, 800 pixel. So load that. So there's your box moving back and forth along the horizontal axis as we have defined it. And then you can stop it. So with JavaScript now, you have the ability to start and stop and the transition and animations. You have the ability to start and stop the transition animations. Okay. Very nice. So let me update the repository, and then I will welcome your questions for a few minutes. There was a colleague of mine somewhere. I'm not sure if it is here. Mr. Charles Kimani, are you with us? Are you with us? Mr. Charles Kimani, are you with us? Can see you on the charts. Mr. Charles Kimani. Yeah, can see you. We'll just give him a call. There was an announcement here I wanted to make. So allow me to upload this. Need to upload these changes. Script.js. And styles.css. And finally, the index file. Yeah, so that does it for our week 7. That does it for our week 7 with those few demonstrations on transitions and animations using CSS3, and also incorporating a bit of JavaScript to initiate and stop those animations. So I will welcome your questions if you have any. So one thing that I will always say, please guys, let us just simply follow instructions. Let us follow instructions. So I don't know how hard that one is for some of us, but let us just follow instructions kindly. So I keep on mentioning in every session, if you have an issue with your assignment, please reach out to me on email. I don't know how many times I'm going to reiterate that. Reach out to me on email. You know, I don't have visibility for the ticketing. If you raise an issue on the ticketing system, it may or may not come to me, okay? Because I do not handle that department. Fine. So if you reach out to me on email, I'll be in a very good position to assist you very, very fast. So please reach out to me on email if you have an issue with your assignment. But as I've mentioned, there are new instructions for week 6 and 7 for the assignment. So before you reach out to me, go through those instructions for week 6 and 7. If you experience an issue, then reach out to me. Okay? So questions for this session, what we've gone through. I will not take any other question. Those are our ground rules. You know that very well. So questions regarding this session, please. Levis, Hassan, Raphael, Jethro, Nyamoya Collins, Paul Ocheng, Ajoke Abdul, Jackson, Philip Ondieki, Nuraini, Alice Mwangi, Fabian Ocheng.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
One by one, please.
Actually, sir, I say what does before pseudocode and after does? Can you hear me?
I do not understand what you're saying. What is your question?
Sir, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
I said what does pseudocode the after and before does? What is its function?
This is not pseudocode. This is not pseudocode.
The before and after.
Yes, so this we're just defining. It is
Okay.
before and after. What is it? Oh, sorry. Before and after. This one.
Yes, sir.
I think this one is very, very clear. I honestly don't know how to explain better than the words that have been used before and after. Honestly. So this is the original state of that element. That
Yes.
is the original state, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
are simply changing the state.
Okay.
So before it comes to this original state, we want
Yeah.
the properties to change to this. And then after the original state, we want the properties again to change to that.
Okay, sir. I got it now.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yes.
Next question. Next question.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Alice.
Good morning, Mwalimu. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
A question. In terms of I'm fine. When you're doing, in terms of project-based, when you have a client, at what discretion or rather what criteria does one use to determine how much animation is enough for a website?
How much
Or
animation
is
is
it,
enough?
or can you just decide if are a developer, I'm not gonna do any animation at all, provided you deliver and it's okay and it's up to par to the client expectations over or exceeds them? Do we really need animations in websites?
No, you do not really need animations in websites unless the client actually requires it. So if you are given
Okay.
carte blanche to design and develop a website however you feel is appropriate to your
Yes.
client's needs, then
Uh-huh.
you can decide whether or not to include animations.
Okay.
So, but if the client does require you to do some form of transition and animations, then you can actually do that to a certain degree. Okay. Don't make
Okay.
it too much or over the top, such that the
Yeah.
animations or transitions discourage the actual intention of the web page. So someone is
Okay.
just
Thank
there
you.
concentrating on animation and
Yes,
they
sir.
they miss out on the website content. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you, Alice. Next question.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you very much, sir, for the class. I have some few questions to ask. Number one, the first one is, there was a place you showed a sliding ball effect. So, but I noticed that the sliding effect actually was not moving to the end. It can only slide down and up, then come back again. Is there any way that you can actually make it to move to the end?
The reason why it was not moving to the end is because of this constraint. The left constraint here. So you can increase this if you wanted to move it to the very end.
No, sir, not the one that slides horizontally. There's one that used the sliding styling. I don't know if you can scroll up. Let me show you the one I'm talking about. Hello, sir. I said, no, I mean, can you scroll up from that same place, the style.css? Exactly, this yellow ball now, the yellow ball. So I don't know if there's any way that it can, as it's bouncing, then gets to the very end, maybe down, bounce down, up, then down again to the very end of this.
Yeah, it's because of the constraint that we've put for the how far it can bounce, just as I've mentioned before. So that was ball two. Yeah, it's because of these constraints, these constraints that we've put here. That is why it is only bouncing to that extent. So if you want it to bounce to the very end, increase these values, especially the left one. Okay?
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Yes, good morning.
My question now is about forking. Is forking same as making a copy?
No.
No, it is, but there are two different processes. It is making a copy, but forking is not equivalent to cloning. Okay, so forking, you actually do that from the GitHub, itself. There is this action here called fork. This is where you fork a repository. Okay, so it will create a copy of that on your own repository. Okay, so with this copy, you can actually make changes. But if you clone this one, if you clone the main one, you cannot push your changes here. You do not have permission to push your changes to this repository, okay? So that is why I'm saying you need to fork it. And forking is done from the GitHub user interface.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good
morning.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, sorry, I lost some connection there. So there was another question I wanted to ask you. The second question is the transition features and that transform with scale value. I didn't really understand very well, sir, the connection between them, how they work together. Can you please explain that a bit?
Can you repeat your question?
I mean, the transition property, okay, and then the transform with scale. Like, I didn't really understand the connection between them, how they work very well. Can you please just explain that briefly?
Scale will just slightly increasing or decreasing size. That is what scale means. So a value greater than 1 increases the size. Anything less than 1 decreases size. That is what scale refers. Transform is change. What are you changing? We are changing the scale here. Scale is size. Okay? You all know what rotate does. Scale is size. Anything greater than 1, you are increasing size. Anything less, you are decreasing the size.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay. The other question is actually about assignment, though, but you said we shouldn't ask it. It's just that even after I sent the email, the problem still persisted. I don't know why. You replied, I followed the link you sent, but it still persisted.
Having an issue, let me know on email. Please. Let me know on email. And you guys are not nice. How do you send me an email at 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. and 2 a.m.? Huh? And then you'll say the instructor did not answer me on time. Eh? You guys are not good. Eh? You want to put blame on me for you not doing your assignments on time.
Yes, sir.
How do you send an email on Sunday at not even Sunday? It is Monday. It is already a new week. Monday, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. In fact, what are you doing awake at 4 a.m. in the morning?
Okay, excuse me, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Eh?
I have two
And then
questions.
you say the instructor I had an issue with the assignment. The instructor did not get back to me on time. Eh?
Just
And then there's this other group of you who sent me emails on a weekend. Wow. Eh? Anyway, next question, please. Next question, please.
Hello.
Yes, Samuel.
My question is, as part of this lesson on animation. Hello.
Yes.
As part of this lesson on animations, so it's 2D. Can it be 3D?
Yes, you can have 3D animations, but that is not in our scope for this lesson.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yes, Joaquin.
Okay, so I have a question, but it is not related to what we've learned today. Can you hear me?
Yes, Joaquin.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, so I was asking, how can we do deployment? Because I was trying to deploy my repo, but it was like it was not giving me a live website.
Deployment is next week. Okay. So we'll actually go through that in next week's class.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Next question.
I have
Good morning, sir. Hello.
I have two questions. The first question is about CSS and JavaScript. Are they like in competition or are they in collaboration?
They are in collaboration.
Then why will CSS launch a feature that already JavaScript has? I mean,
which feature is that?
Animations, which you mentioned that they launched.
No. Remember, all these things we are transforming, all these transformations we are doing to the elements are dictated by CSS. Yeah? Even if we are using JavaScript to do interactivity, you are simply changing CSS properties. Isn't that so? You're changing styles, and styles is CSS. So you're simply leveraging the power of CSS using JavaScript.
I get that. Now, I have a second question, which is related to the assignment. It's more of a request than a question. That at PLP, we're not just learning, simply coding and just, doing that. We're also learning best practices of, managing web applications and all. And I think getting it from, like Safaricom or KPLC, if there's widespread power outage, widespread network outage, then, Safaricom will not expect everyone to do a ticket for them to fix the issue. If something is widespread, then they just take it up. So I think if there's a repo access issue, as a tutor, you shouldn't wait for everyone to do an email. You already know that there's a widespread issue. So just come out and fix it.
I understand. Now, the issue is not the repo itself. The issue is GitHub. As I mentioned in the beginning of the class, for some reason, every module was experiencing this issue on week 6 for some reason. I have no idea why. Okay. And the second issue was some of your colleagues have successfully accessed the repository and they've successfully submitted the assignment. A large majority, over 700, have successfully done so. Okay. So that is why I was requesting, if you are experiencing an issue, please let me know. The only solution GitHub gives us for that is to delete the assignment and create a new one. I cannot delete an assignment that over 700 have already accepted and submitted. Okay? That is not a possibility. Okay? I cannot do that. 2, creating a new repository also did not work. It was still experiencing the same issue. That is why we decided, after all the back and forth, to issue new instructions where you access the main repository, fork it, and do your assignment. Okay? But everyone who reached out to me from last week, from Monday through Friday, up to yesterday evening, up to even today morning, I've replied to everyone and I've given them instructions on what to do. Next question.
My last question, I have a question concerning LMS. When we finish the module, will we still have the access to the LMS?
Yes, we'll still have access to LMS, but eventually the access will be revoked after some time.
Maybe after how long? Because
Not sure about the time. I'll need to confirm that.
Can I ask a question now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so before asking my question, I wanted to recommend, if there is none, from maybe our sub platform where we can address or troubleshoot these issues in real time and decentralized for you alone, because people might help each other. So that stated, my question is on best practice in terms of performance and optimization. So do we use shorthand or do we use full hand? And next, still on best practices, how does breaking points come? Because during the hackathon, while using Lighthouse to analyze my pages, I saw issues to do with breaking points, and I've heard you mention breaking points here.
Sorry, I didn't get you for the last bit.
Where happened? All right. In terms of best practice, which one do you think
for the last bit? For the last bit, I didn't get the last bit.
The last breaking point.
Yeah. Breaking points.
Yes, I heard you mention breaking points in here. So
no, in animations.
In animations.
Okay. Yeah, if you can see my screen, if I can see my screen, these are the breakpoints. Eh?
Okay.
Yeah, these are the breakpoints. These are the breakpoints: 0%, 100%, 50%, or you can just do from and to. So those are the breakpoints. Eh?
Are they the same breaking points that are shown when you analyze performance using Lighthouse? Because I used this syntax.
No. That is something else. That is entirely something else. Eh? We are talking about breakpoints in animations. For the developer toolbar, that is something else.
And next, also on the issue to do with optimization, in terms of fetching delay, would you recommend somebody to just stick with PS for all the functions for use ES and how use both CS and ES, and how will that affect their performance?
One thing is very clear. You cannot use one over the other. These two complement each other. The styling and the JavaScript programming language, they complement each other, okay? There are instances where you will need to use both. There are instances where you'll need to use one, okay? But the truth of the matter is they actually complement each other. So I wouldn't advise using one over the other, okay? Didn't advise using one or the other. There's an instance where you need both of them, okay? And remember, best practice is always separation of concerns, separation of concerns. Let your styles be within the styling file, okay? Let your scripting language be in the scripting file, okay? So, but when you need to change your styling information with JavaScript, then you can actually do that from JavaScript. But don't define all your styling within JavaScript. That is not what it is meant for.
Good. Last question within the scope of our lesson today. We talked about animations and transitions, and I realize there are key components that are mentioned. So, is there a reason, or how to frame it? Should we follow the sequence of naming from name, duration, timing, or you can just iterate, however, and the CS program will be able to.
For the sequence, yeah, there's a specific order. There's a specific order for this sequence. When you're using the shorthand, there is a specific order, a definite specific order. So, yeah, I think I'll get that order and share it maybe within the notes. There is a specific order. You cannot just do them however you like. Yeah, some things will not work out as you think. So there is a specific order for this. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Is
Hello?
Charles here with us?
Hello?
Oh, yes. I see Charles has joined us. Okay. Yes, next question.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, proceed.
How do transitions impact web performance?
The impact is very, very minimal.
Okay.
Very minimal.
Okay, and can you do transition on a multiple properties?
Yes, that is what we've been doing with animation.
Okay.
With the breakpoints, you can add as many properties as you want.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, like for heartbeat, we did a transform. We changed the scale. We rotated. You can change color. You can change as many properties as you want. But remember, the allowable properties per element. Okay. Next question, please.
Hello, Eddie.
Yes, Philip.
So how do I ensure that my animations work well across different devices and screen sizes?
Different devices. Screen sizes wouldn't apply. Screen sizes wouldn't apply, but not even different devices, but different, would I call it browsers? Would I call it browsers or what? Yes, I think I would call it browsers.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's something called vendor prefixes. Vendor prefixes. So not sure if you've come across, but sometimes if you inspect our website, you might look at the styling information, rules and properties, and you see something like WebKit, things like Moz. So those are called vendor prefixes. So these ones are specific to browsers. So with those vendor prefixes, you can actually define these properties across multiple multiple types of browsers. So they can be used across Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Opera, and the likes. So look into something called vendor prefixes when it comes to these properties.
Okay.
Hi. Hello. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, sir. Please, my question is, I noticed that it's about the shape of the containers. For the div, you use the radius of 50%, which make it round. But for the art shape, I don't know how you come about the shape.
For the art bit.
Yes, the art bit. I don't know how you come about the shape. That's my question, sir.
For the heartbeat, the shape. This is the line that does that.
That's
Okay, sir.
This is the line that does that. The transformer, the rotating 45 degrees, that is the one that makes that shape.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Hassan.
I have another question.
Yes,
What
please.
What are the CSS transitions best used for?
Hassan. They have best used for transitions. Hassan.
Yes.
They are best used for transitions.
Okay.
No, okay, so yes, just basically that. Oh, okay, they are best used for transitions. So if you are somebody is scrolling on your website and you're moving from one section to another section, you can put up an animation or a transition effect, just to make your web page more interesting. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Don't make dull web pages.
Oh.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah.
Lugare. Hello, Mr.
Good morning,
Lugare.
sir.
Yes,
Good morning,
Becky.
Hello, sir.
Just a moment,
Good afternoon.
Zakara.
Wow.
Hey, Becky.
Okay, thank you. So I was wondering how we could.
Hey, Zachariah. Yes, Becky, please proceed.
Yes,
Okay.
good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
I'm Taki Nyonge. So I was wondering how we could make these transitions responsive, like RWD, responsive web design, into how we could incorporate it into. I think it was also Philip on Date's question.
Okay. Responsive web design. So yeah, you'd simply incorporate the rules of responsiveness. You have your, what are they called? You have your media queries. To define those rules again across various device screen sizes. Yeah. So you simply just do that. Introduce media queries.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Where is Zachariah? Where is Zachariah? He really wanted to speak. You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Zachariah.
I was asking for your email.
Who is that asking for my
Today's
email?
class. Yeah, it's Zachariah.
You're asking for my email?
Yeah, I am having some question I really want to ask you in person.
Hey, Zachariah, and I see you have not been joining class. You don't know my email. We're in week 7. Hey. Eh? We are in week 7.
I've been
Oh, my
joining
Lord.
classes, but I didn't
I
record.
share my email in every class. Every single class, I share my email. How don't you know my email address? Eh? You've not been joining us. Send me your
You didn't
email.
share today's class.
There it is on the chat box. Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, David. David.
Good morning, sir. So,
Good morning.
thank you for the class, sir. My question is this: these transitions and transformation, everything. So, are we going to be applying them once we get to our specialization class? Let's say, for example, all this React class. Are we still going to be applying this transition in our CSS?
Yeah, depends on what you're building. Depends on what you're building. Remember, all these things we are going through, it is up to your discretion to use them or not as a developer. So if you want to include them in your final projects, in your work, it is well and good. If you do not want to, still well and good.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. And
Yes.
sir, I want to ask, will there be like a week break for us after this session before we go into specialization? Because I feel like we really need it.
Yeah, you'll be given a short break. You'll be
Okay,
given
sir.
a short break. Yes. But now, for your specialization, you'll only be switching to at least one class per week. Okay, one module per week, because you're only allowed to select one module for the specialization.
Okay. Yeah. So it will be one class per week.
Yes, one class per week.
Oh, that would be nice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, are there any more questions? Just Raphael, before I give my colleague, Mr. Chakin Kim, a minute to talk to his people.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Raphael.
Sorry, I want to ask a question based on this minus 50 pixels. You gave this hat before and hat after. Please, can you actually explain what it is doing? The hat before and hat after. Just, yeah, here, exactly. That hat before and hat after. What is it doing? And then the minus 50 pixels. Yeah.
This is just position. Left and top, right and bottom. Those are just positions. Okay. You're just putting the position for this particular element.
Okay, the before, does it imply before you hover around it, then after you hover around it?
No, so as I was mentioning to someone else before, this is the original state of that element. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so once we animate it, then the state changes. The state changes. Thereafter, we can define how those states are changing. So the after and before states of that element, that is what we are modifying. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me get a question from Amare and Promise, and then we
Okay,
wrap it
hello.
up with Mr. Chakin.
Hello, Eddie.
Yes, Amare.
Okay, thanks for your nice presentation. I would like to ask, is there a possibility just selecting two specializations, what I mean, like web development as well as Python? I was wondering just because I would like to more on Python as well as web development. Is there any probability or possibilities? Just more clarification I would like to ask. Thank you.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. We only allow one selection for the specialization. We only allow one selection for the specialization, so that wouldn't be possible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Charles, are you there? Are you there, Mr. Charles?
Yes, I'm here. Oh,
thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Charles. You know, you gave a very famous phrase in your class, and we use it here in our class also. Huh? Time to zip some coffee.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. I believe you had an announcement to make. Please talk to your people.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you for the good work and the beautiful, beautiful work. If you allow me to share the screen, I think I'll be very brief. I want to be brief. Yeah. Yeah, I believe you can be able to see my screen, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie, for this session. I've enjoyed the transition, aesthetics of animation, and I feel like a great web programmer now. And when you see such coming, then you know you are about to terminate your foundations on web programming, because any aesthetics, they always apply when you are about to finish a project. So basically, that's a signal that you guys are about to lap it up in the foundations. And once you lap it up, you'll go to specialization. Now, once you specialize, you will have 4 modules to specialize on. You can only specialize in one. The first one is full stack, man, with man. That one means you will specialize in web development technologies, like going further beyond what you've done in the foundations. And you can be able to basically develop responsive web pages, and you'll be able to be quite competent in web programming using MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. All right. So if you're interested in creating awesome web solutions, Manstack is the way to go. Then you'll have another track where you can go mobile app development. We talk of integrating web apps with mobile apps, where we talk of progressive web apps, meaning you can be able to integrate your web work into nice mobile app project. Now, that one you'll have to specialize with Dart and Flutter. Now, it's a very good mode of specialization. You can be able to create awesome apps and deploy them on Google App Store or Apple Store. I don't know whether Apple, they have an Apple Store. I think they have iCloud. So you can deploy them for people to be able to access them. So Basically, that's a very good track. And then you can also take another track of software testing that is more like going to the software evaluation part where you can be able to evaluate the software moderations are up to standards. You can be able to gauge the standards of development and evaluate how good they are, and also be able maybe to make key deliberations on what should be done to the software, maybe to optimize it. So on that software optimization and testing, you'll track for software testing. Yeah, that one will be quite awesome. And for those of you who would like to align themselves with the the talk of the town, AI, that is the talk of the town. You just open your door. Your neighbor is talking about AI. Yeah. So if you would like to know about AI, we've got the track of AI for software engineering. You will know how to leverage on AI for building and AI for optimization of web apps and mobile apps as well. Now that said, what are you expected to build? So you are expected to build SDG project. That means a project that identifies a real world problem and brings up a solution to that real world problem, and it erodes the pain points that are inflicted by that problem. Now, these SDGs, they basically are run by the UN, and as Power and Project, we really count on them because we want to you guys to work on sustainable development goals so that you can create clear design programs, and they are temporary tailored to your context so that you can also deliver engaging and guided execution and practical enjoyable solutions. So that said, in this, I won't really delve on what are SDGs anymore, but my concentration will be what are the SDGs? There are 17 of them. So in every one of them, there is how you can go about it. For example, let's just take one like zero hunger. You can develop a food waste tracking app, supply chain optimizing for food distribution, AI-powered nutrition recommendation system, like the one we gave you in Vibe Hackathon. Yeah, we gave you a recipe recommender. Hopefully, you developed a good one. Yeah, AI-powered nutrition recommendation system, mobile platform for food donation matching, and agriculture data platforms for farmers. So basically, in every track, what I've done here, we've summarized for you what you can do, like what can you do with every SDG. Now, after summarizing what you can do with every SDG, we've gone now to address the 17 of them. So all of them, they are well aligned, okay? Then the question is, how will you execute it? So when it comes to execution, we've got a technology stack we want you to align yourself with. Like, for example, you first, assuming you arrange your work in weeks. So like week 1, you set up GitHub repo, define project scope, SDG alignment, write problem statement, and market analysis. So you also you employ the SDLC focus for planning and requirements gathering. So you also define your tools and technologies for GitHub, like GitHub, Trello, Jira, Google Docs, what have you. Monetization loops start with ad revenue and app purchases, crowdfunding, or donations. Then maybe somewhere in week 2, you start problem discovering and early prototyping. whereby you build wireframes of initial user interface, start basic backend API databases, explore AI models for initial integration. Yeah, you design and develop. Basically, mostly we expect you to use the technologies you've run, like HTML5, CSS, JSS, Bootstrap, Tailbit, VS Code, and MySQL, plus any other technology you will learn. Okay, yeah, and then now we get to monetization. This one is all about ad revenue, like how you can get revenue from ads. So use Google AdSense or even the donations, okay? And then maybe somewhere in week 3, concept note and front-end development, complete concept note. That is your problem solution, AI solution monetization, develop responsive front end with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and what have you, or Python if you like, Streamlit and Flask, and maybe Django. Yeah. Design, develop, and then you have a deployment method. And you definitely make sure you monetize. So basically, we want you to make sure you plan your development process. Don't do it like it's a crash program. No, it's not a crash program. A project is not a crash program. A project is a well-planned process. It requires consistency. It requires dedication. If you want to deliver outstanding projects, then you got to dedicate your time and energy and resources into it. It doesn't just come easy. All right. So after that, week 4, make sure you integrate. Week 5, backend development, database setup, and then week 6, refine AI models and MVP preparation. And then on week 7, deploy your MVP and initial user testing. Week 9 to 12, launch monitoring, final demo, and week 8, make sure you test and define. I mean, you can see it's a good, well-organized process. Every week, there is a specific task to be done, okay? And here, we are giving you the time frame, the remaining time frame. You've got around 12 weeks to go. So that is the time frame that we put here. That's why you can see we are talking of week 9 to 12. So it means by end of your week 12, that is week 12, that is, after specialization, there are 2 weeks remaining for foundation, and the 8 weeks that there for specialization, you should be done. You should be you should have completed your project, okay? So don't just sit there saying, oh, I'm yet to know what to develop. Now you know what to develop. Now you know what tools to use. Now you know how to go about it. Now you know how to manage your timeline, okay? Yes, and after that, now, here we've got a very good SDG aligned projects part 1, whereby we are giving you an example of every SDG, how you can do a project that is in line, the technology to use, and how to do the monetization. Now, for the monetization parts, you can also use, beyond what you are given here, you can also use monetization applications that are available in your region or country. For example, here in Kenya, we've got Interset and Daraja API. They are very good payment modes, acceptable in Kenya everywhere. So you can leverage on them, okay? You see in West Africa, places like Nigeria, Flutterwave is a good one. You can deploy there. Yes. So basically, we've given you good templates of what to do and how to work with the SDGs. Why? Because we want your projects to be formidable. We want your projects to be well aligned, okay? I don't want to look at your final projects and all you have in your GitHub repo is a profile or a calculator. No. It's not time to do calculators and profiles, eh? Yeah. Last week, I think it was last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, I had a problem with a student who was telling me, please write a recommendation letter for me. Then I told them, I want to see what's your final project. So I went just to the system, checked for their final project, and all they had was a profile. So I told them, no, I can't recommend you for anything with just a profile. Okay. Yeah. So I want you to have formidable projects that visualize solution for real world problems. Yes. So the best way to do this, go to the market, interact with people, go to the village. Don't stay in the office and start thinking about problems that are not real. You might be hallucinating, okay? So to avoid hallucinations and overthinking, just go to the people, look at their way of life, okay? Identify with their pain points, identify with the processes that can be automated, identify with anything that tech solution can come handy, can bring in handy as an entity for pride to those people. That way, you will be able to solve a real world solution, but not sitting down and start overthinking and start hallucinating about problems. Avoid that. You might be even solving problems that are non-existent. Okay? Yes. Okay? Yeah. So we've given you even live project examples you can look on online. All these projects are available online. You can look up to them and you can be able to see how they've been done and how they've been basically implemented and deployed. All right. Then make sure that on your nice project, you've got good front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, JS. Now, these things you've learned, everything you've been taught by Eddie matters a lot. Even if you will develop with Python, say for example, you want to do with Django, you've got to know how to work with HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript, because you've got to align your models and your templates. And mostly all those, they work in HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. The same with Flask, the same with Streamlit. You need this. Even if whatever you go with Flutter and Dart and Flutter, the same things you will use you'll need the same technologies to advance on how you can be able to apply aesthetics on your project, okay? So, when it comes to backend technologies, Node.js is good, Django, Python, Firebase, good, okay? Maybe you're like, oh, why is Jakin mentioning Firebase and we are not taught Firebase at PLP? You've been taught MySQL. That's a database. All databases that are structural, they work the same. And so is Firebase. And afterwards, you learn MongoDB. MongoDB is unstructured, or we talk of unstructured, okay? So you will be able to learn that database basically work on the same metrics, all right? So that said, make sure also you have AI machine learning technologies integrated like TensorFlow and PyTorch and Keras. You will learn that for the specialization. Also deployment and testing, you can do it on Heroku, stroke Versa. Those are free. Use Selenium, Jest, and Mocha for testing frameworks. Yeah, Mocha here is not coffee. You guys, I know you love coffee, Mocha, but it's not Mocha coffee. This is Mocha testing platform, okay? Yes, we've got also Postman for API testing. If you want to know whether your API is working well, you can use Postman. I'm not talking about posting mails. I'm not taking you back in time. I'm just referring to a platform of testing APIs. And here we've got some monetization tools like Stripe and PayPal, Google Analytics, Neuralink, and AppFire Firebase Analytics, all that. You've got all these tools with you. Guys, when it comes to vibe coding, we've got a series of programs we've recommend for you to use. These, you are not limited to this one, okay? You can even use more if you know of them and you are good in using them. But at least you should be able to work with this, for example, and their links are well provided. This information I'm sharing with you is already out on Telegram. So log into your Telegram, July 2025 cohort community, and you'll be able to see it. You can download it from there. It's free. It's accessible. So basically, after that, make sure you are able to use these tools for vibe coding. Why? Vibe coding, we use vibe coding for speed and efficiency. It doesn't mean that now you won't code. It's still you who will code to customize whatever you want. But the AI tools will help you to be like, do it a bit faster. Whatever maybe you could have done in maybe like 20 hours, you can do it in 2 hours. Okay, yes. So basically that's the usage of it. And that's why we encourage you to use these tools to make sure that you are quite speedy enough, and especially in debugging, and also maybe developing code stacks. Yeah, it becomes quite easy. Okay. Yes. So leverage on these vibe coding tools to make your work easy. If you feel you are too good to use any of them, it's okay, as long as whatever you give us is good and beautiful and wonderful. You don't have to use them, but we encourage you to use them for speed and efficiency. And then that's the bit of it. And that is all about SDGs project. So start working on your SDGs projects as soon as now, as early as now, because you are about to go to specialization. In specialization, you only specialize in one module. Note, you cannot specialize in 2 or 3 or 4. It's just one. So based on what you want to develop, make good choices of your specialization, and that one will be quite awesome. I'm done, Eddie. Not unless there is any queries for me. I'm done. Back to you, Eddie.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you for that wonderful presentation on the final project and how important it is for us to align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if there are any questions for Mr. Chakin. Are there any questions for Mr. Chakin? Let's see, from, that name is hard. Pamela, Godfrey, Alice, Jackson.
Hello.
Yes, Pamela.
Yeah, my question was, does the school have stake in these projects that we're going to do? Like,
Sorry?
maybe, hello?
Yes.
I'm asking, does the school have some stake in some of these projects that we're going to do?
No. Like I mentioned last week, I think somebody mentioned asked the same question. No, the project is fully owned by you as the learner. No, we do not have any stake on your idea, okay? That is yours and yours alone.
One second. Hi, okay. I just wanted to ask if we can share the slides that he just shared now.
Yes, so I think he's mentioned that the information is already available on the Telegram group for the July
Okay.
cohort.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, the information is there already. So
Okay, thank
you can
you.
find
Okay.
it.
Okay, that's all.
Next
Excuse me.
question.
I wanted
I
to
have a
find
question.
out for the projects, are we going to do it in terms, is it an individual project or is it gonna be a group project?
Both are allowed. You can either
Okay.
go it solo or you
Mhm.
can do it as a group.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Idea was asking
Yes, sir.
on the deployment website, like the Kulu, I had
Eddie?
check-in saying that they were free, but when I tried on the hackathon vibe coding, the other side, that assignment, they're more needed a monetary version. You have to pay, so it is no longer free as they insinuated earlier on. So they need some sort of a virtual.
Yeah, there was a free version. Not sure about Heruku, but I am sure Netlify, Vercel, those ones have a free version. So they offer free services up to a certain limit. So it cannot be completely free. Cannot be completely free.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Eddie?
Yes, Charles.
Just to address Ari's question of group or individual, for the one for the group, it's good that she knows that if you want to do a group project, the group should not exceed 5 members.
Yeah.
Members.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Again,
I forgot
all your
that.
names should appear on the repo you submit. The name of every
Okay.
member. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
And your work of contribution. That means you should be contributors or contributors to the same repo. You don't
Yes.
say
Yes, that one is very important.
and then you can't see
Thank
your
you, Charles.
contribution.
We don't want
Got it.
freeloaders.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually check on your commits, by the way, if you don't know, because the final project that one is very, very serious. We don't want to award someone a certificate and there's nothing they did. So we actually check on your commit history. Has everyone been doing something or someone has just been waiting for others to do all the work?
Hello?
Any other question?
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I wanted to get clarified on is the project limited for those who are looking to specialize with web technologies, or it expands to all other specializations?
Yeah, the project applies to all other specializations.
Okay, so there are no different projects, it's just one project, but it will cover for all.
Remember that specialization, you're only choosing one single module for specialization. Okay? So depending on what you specialized on, I think we would expect your project to be based on that specialization. If I'm
So
not
it's
wrong.
advisable to get group members who have different specializations. Okay.
Not really. Not
next
really,
question.
not really. Not really. Remember,
right,
even if you're doing web, you can still incorporate AI if you're doing web. Okay.
Okay.
If you're doing mobile, you can still incorporate AI, or your mobile app can have a web component. It is still okay.
Wonderful. Next
Yes.
question is, are the members only limited to PLP students for the July cohort, or you can expand
Yes. I don't want to hear the rest of your question. Yes.
Very nice.
Yes, we cannot have members who are outside this program. That will not be acceptable.
All right.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My question goes to, is the final project related to the startup building pitch deck that we did, or we can do another one? I think it has been confusing us a lot.
Okay. I think also Chakin failed to mention that. So yes, your final project needs to have an accompanying pitch deck specific to that project.
Okay, because they've already submitted the pitch deck, and now are we started building on that pitch deck?
No, your pitch deck, the one you submitted is totally different from your final project. I think what you're submitting is based on the module itself. Yes?
Not really. It was for the final project. I think that is how it was explained.
The one you're submitting now?
Yes, the startup building. We submitted it, I think, by last week.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
just
I
to
think.
clarify, Eddie,
Uh-huh.
whatever you're doing now, when you're doing final project, you'll be given a special link to submit the final project. It will be out from, I think in 2 weeks' time, it will be ready. It will be shared with you guys. But when it comes to final project, on that special form for final project, that's where you submit your pitch deck, your GitHub repo, your deployment link, everything. Yeah, so worry not.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hi, Magdalene.
I'm Mary Magdalene from Nigeria.
Okay.
Please, I noticed there were issues with Netlify and Vessel when I was trying to deploy my hackathon, the last hackathon. Because they were saying they could not run on, they couldn't take projects that had Python Flask in it. So is there any other one that you can recommend?
Yeah, you can use Heroku or Rails. There are some options you can use. But I also noted why some of your projects are not, you're having complications. You could be, I would recommend before first deploying, first check for how to deploy it. Check for the documentation of Verso, how to deploy a project on Verso. If the way you, for example, deploy a Django project on Verso is very different from how you deploy a web based technology, like you using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript or Manstack. The way you deploy those are different. So every like model will require, based on your how you do your project, the way you, for example, deploy a Streamlit project in Python and how you deploy a Flask project in Python, there are two different ways of deploying those two projects on Vercel. Okay, so your technology stack matters, and you should check the proper dimensions of deploying that project before you go ahead. It will like basically erode, keep you away from many errors, experiencing errors, and that information is readily available on YouTube. So just check out for it and you'll get it. You'll be
Thank you
sorted.
very much.
Most welcome. Back to you, Eddie. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Charles. Any other question before we wrap this up? I know we've taken quite some time.
Hello.
Yes, Nigel.
I just wanted to ask, I'm seeing here like during the week by week project development, there's a place where we have to come up with like a problem discovery and early prototyping. So my question is like, is there like a way we can communicate like maybe with one of our instructors to see if like our project is viable before we start building it?
Yeah, sure. You can always reach out to us. You have our contact details. It is okay. If you want some advice, if you want some guidance, it is totally allowed. You can always reach out.
Okay. So maybe through the emails or the groups or just directly to each instructor, or how can we go about it?
I think direct approach would be best, since your projects are very, very specific.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Charles, for that info session on the final project. I hope you've gotten the information. Yes, the slides and the details are available on the Telegram group. Please access them from there. Any questions, please feel free to reach out. We can always advise and guide further. Okay. Yes, Hassan. I'm closing the session. Hassan and Brian. If you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Please check on your mic. Yes, Hassan.
I'm just asking, I wanted to say that I'm not on the Telegram group. Can you add me?
Which one? The main one?
Yes, the main one.
For PLP?
Yes.
Who has a link to that group? Let me see. If anybody has a link to the group, can you share it on the chat? The main Telegram group. Yeah, Samuel has shared it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so Samuel has shared it. Just check on the group. Samuel has shared the link.
Okay.
Yeah, David, Jacinta, do you have anything? You want to wind up the session? Okay. So there being nothing else, David, I see you've unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, David.
Yeah, it's about the community post, and because I noticed that whenever we post on our X and LinkedIn, you get to see that the PowerLearn community are not really engaging with our post and maybe endorsing. I don't know why.
Which platform?
LinkedIn and X specifically.
Okay, I'll pass that on to the relevant team. I'll definitely pass on that.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. We'll end the session there. And we will meet next week for our final topic on the web development module. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it has been a pleasure. We will can see someone has shared the link to the Canva presentation on the chat box. For those who are asking for it, you can access it from there. Yeah, so I can see Mr. Dedan is here with us. See you soon in Manstack, he's saying. Dedan is busy recruiting.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. Yes, Dedan.
We need people on our side. From web development, people should come to Manstack. Manstack is waiting for you.
Yes,
the experience is much better.
Yeah. So Dedan is really lobbying for His module. He's the module lead for Man Full Stack Development. Okay, so if you are interested in that, please make sure to select that as your specialization module. Otherwise, I will end the session there. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it has been a pleasure. Apologies for taking so much of your time, but the info session is very, very important. Yeah, so please pay mind to that information that has been shared. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.